Like, was somebody from the barbershop like punch you and knock you out after that? Like, you be knocked out like from the guy from the barbershop do that? It changed, and they be like, Suge's outside, and everybody be like, yeah. What do you want?
The story of 50 Cent and Suge Knight is one that will live on as long as hip-hop breathes. A gritty saga that cuts deeper than the usual industry games and rap beefs. Suge Knight was infamous for striking fear into the hearts of artists, producers, and executives who dared to challenge his authority. Yet there was one rising star who refused to bow down, none other than 50 Cent. He carried himself in such a way that even Suge, a man rarely forced to retreat, had to think twice about pressing him. The first chapter of Marion Hugh, Suge Knight Jr. His life begins in Compton, California, on April 9th, 1965. From a young age, his massive frame set him apart from his peers, earning him the nickname Sug Bear, which followed him through his early years. His size naturally pushed him toward football and track, and though he made it through high school and college, his football career fizzled after only a few short seasons. That's when Suge found work as a nightclub bodyguard in Los Angeles, a job that pulled him deep into the wild LA nightlife, shaping his personality in all the wrong ways. While serving as Bobby Brown's security, Suge caught his first glimpse of the music world. Artists signing million-dollar deals, labels rising to power, and fortunes being made. It wasn't long before Suge realized he could play the game too, not just as muscle, but as someone who used fear to control situations. Soon, he was managing artists and running with some of rap's biggest names, from Dr. Dre to Snoop Dogg to the legendary Tupac. His ruthless methods and disregard for morals quickly made him a dominant force on the LA rap scene, and his violent streak followed him everywhere. What started with humiliating his ex-girlfriend by cutting her hair in front of her mother's house spiraled into threatening artists like Vanilla Ice, orchestrating brutal intimidation tactics, and even being linked to murder. Still, even as he built his reputation as a feared and ruthless gangster, there was one figure in hip-hop he couldn't control. While Suge's grip tightened on the West Coast, the East was producing an artist unlike anything he had ever faced. After Dr. Dre grew tired of Suge's strong-arm ways, he walked away from his stake in Death Row and started fresh with Aftermath Records under Interscope, a move that reshaped rap history. First came Eminem, Dre's breakout signing, and on M's recommendation, Dre took a chance on a hungry New York rapper with raw potential, the one who would later stand unshaken in front of Suge Knight, 50 Cent. Coming out of South Jamaica, Queens, Curtis James Jackson, known worldwide as 50 Cent, grew up with a rough childhood that forced him to survive on his own from an early age. To him, the world was a cold place that would crush you unless you fought back, and by the age of 12, he was already selling narcotics just to get by. But even through the chaos, there was one thing that kept him moving: music. 50 began rapping as a kid, yet it wasn't until 1996, when a friend introduced him to the legendary Jam Master Jay of Run DMC, that he finally stepped into recording. From that point on, there was no turning back. 50 knew music was his escape and his future. His grind eventually paid off when Eminem came across his Guess Who's Back CD and immediately recognized raw talent. M brought it to Dr. Dre, who trusted his judgment, and soon after, 50 was officially signed to Aftermath. That deal didn't just change 50's life. It shook up the entire industry, especially for Suge Knight. Linking with Dre and M meant 50 was now rolling with the heavyweights, stepping into superstar territory where the stakes and responsibilities were higher than ever. Meanwhile, Suge had just been released from serving a 5-year prison sentence and was scrambling to repair the wreckage left behind at Death Row. What he didn't realize was that his toughest rival wouldn't be an old enemy, but rather Dre's new weapon, 50 Cent, the man destined to carry Aftermath forward. For Suge to reclaim his former dominance, a clash with 50 was unavoidable. That moment came in 2002, when 50 was on set filming the video for his now iconic hit, In Da Club, the track that launched him into stardom. Surrounded by his crew and enjoying the height of his momentum, the atmosphere suddenly shifted when someone shouted, "Suge Knight is here!" And just like that, the room turned tense, setting the stage for a showdown.
We were shooting In Da Club video, and somebody said, "Suge Knight here!" And 50 I was at the bar, Gang was there, he was shooting In Da Club scene, and he stopped, and Suge came in with 30 Mexicans, like you said, which was weird, you know what I'm saying?
He always wrong with the Mexicans.
You know what I'm saying? And I just remember Smurf and 50 was like, "What's up, man? What you want to do?"
Bang him.
Yeah, Bang was like, what you want to do?
He came, it was like, Suge's outside! Suge's outside! Everybody like, Suge. He was running, dropping shit, like, man, everybody going, I'm in front of the camera like this. Everybody else running. It was just gone. Yeah, now it kind of changed a little bit. Like when somebody from the barbershop like punch you and knock you out after that, like you be knocked out, like from the guy from the barbershop do that, it changed. And they be like, Suge's outside. And everybody be like, yeah.
Before long, Suge Knight rolled up on 50 Cent with an army of men, reportedly 30 Mexican goons deep. The sight alone sent most of 50's crew scattering, intimidated by the notorious West Coast mogul who came to flex his power. Suge wasn't just making an appearance. He wanted everyone to know he was watching, that he still held weight in the game. But what he didn't expect was how little 50 cared about the act. When Suge got close, exhaling a puff of cigar smoke right in his face, 50 didn't flinch. Instead, he looked him dead in the eye and asked coldly, "What's up, man? What you want to do?" Suge didn't answer. He just raised his hand, waved off his entourage, and walked out. That was it. No words, no fight, just silence. He had probably come expecting respect, fear, maybe even submission. But what he got was a man unshaken, standing tall even when outnumbered. For 50, this was nothing new. His childhood scars, the brutal realities of South Jamaica, and surviving 9 gunshots had built him into someone who couldn't be rattled. Pressure didn't break him, it hardened him. Suge realized then there was nothing more to gain from pushing 50. It was a failed mission. 50 went right back to shooting in Day Club, the video that would go down as one of the most iconic moments in rap history. No one truly knows why Suge showed up that day. Maybe it was to send a warning, maybe to intimidate. But 50 had already stared death in the face, so what could Suge possibly bring that he hadn't already endured? When you accept that life can end at any second, fear loses its grip. Some people crumble under that reality, while others, like 50, turn it into fuel, becoming sharper, colder, and more untouchable. From that day forward, Suge's dominance began to fade. His actions grew more erratic, his empire slipped away, and eventually, his reckless choices landed him back behind bars. In 2018, he was sentenced to 28 years after pleading no contest in a deadly hit-and-run case. Meanwhile, 50 Cent kept moving forward, not only cementing himself in music, but expanding into television, film, and business, proving he was built for the long game.